Hello and welcome back to Tony Northeastern, and we have a very interesting photograph in front of you with the Q7 number 63460, which is just about to take on a rail tour to concert via West Bolden. And on the right there we have a DMU that's bound for Sunderland, and it's not the photograph we're interested in really, it's the bridge behind it, the Riverside bridge, and that's what we're going to focus on this week. Right, continuing from where we left off, the glue has now gone off on the elevated wall there, I shall say the retaining wall, and what we're going to be doing this week is looking at the bridge. We're going to actually build a bridge, and don't know if you spotted the little change. I have taken a piece of wall out and made the wall continuous curve, which looks a lot better than what it did. Right, let's go and have a look at this bridge and how I'm going to do it. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is the bridge base. I'm using a little bit of 3mm ply, and as you can see it's quite bent. So I have cut up a couple of strengtheners which I will glue and screw to the underside. Hopefully that'll straighten it up. And then we can go on to the bridge design itself. Okay, I've had some bearers underneath just to flatten out the ply, and I've also come up with this design of the bridge. Looking at photos and gauging measurements, I've made it as a half template. So what I'll do is I'll cut that out, flip it over and get two sides out of one piece. So this is going to be my template. So if I just leave that there for a little while, if anybody wants to take any notes, or you can pause it and have a look. Yeah, I drew it at 100mm high, but that was too high. As you can see where I've rubbed it out and then redrawn it again, but I think that looks about right. And here is the photograph of the bridge I've been gauging my height and dimensions of, just to give you an idea. Okay, as you can see I've now cut the template out, so with this template I can make both halves of the span of the bridge, and I will keep this as a template for the whole building, because I've got to mark out and cut at least 12 of those, just that bit there, to thicken up the base. You'll see as we'll go along. Okay, here we can see that I've used the templates and I've made a complete span with that template. The overall width of this bridge is 360mm, and it don't look too bad at the moment. I'm going to cut two of these out and then reinforce these uprights, and then just thicken up these ends, and then just add a topping piece and a ridge piece to go over it, just to give it some extra strength. So like I said, I've got two of these to cut, and the card I'm using is 2mm thick. It's an A3 sheet, so there's plenty of card here. Right, let's crack on. One span down and one more span to cut out, It wasn't too bad to cut really, I just have to be really careful with the scalpel. So let's do the other one. Right, that's the uprights completed. I've got to cut out 8 rectangular pieces here to support the bridge, to stiffen it up. And also all these spans need thickening up as well, and to finish it off with a capping ridge, and we'll be there. Just by using the original template, I'm just going to draw around here and then just cut it off at this line here. So I need 8 pieces of these. Okay, I've started to glue the strengtheners up on the bridge just to add detail and also try and stiffen this up because it's quite flimsy at the moment. So I'll just glue them together like so. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting up 5.5mm strips so I can strengthen all these uprights up out of the scraps that were left over from cutting the bridges out of the card in the first place. So this may take some time, and like I said earlier, it's quite easy to cut this card. It's like a sponge when you put the scalpel into it. Right, the uprights have now been reinforced. As you can see, it's just starting to show a bit more character. So the next bit is to put some tie bars in there. I've cut some 2mm by 2mm strips to go in there. Then we cap the whole lot off later on. It's taken an age to get this far, but it's starting to look like the bridge in the picture. So as you can see, by cutting out these 2mm square cards, I'm just beginning to form a ledge on the concrete, and just gives that extra character. Okay, it took a while to do. Put all these ridge pieces in, and on both sides. So this one is ready for the base and the top piece to be glued in. But I have already done one. Here it is, a finished span. So it's just waiting for the glue to go off, and then I can paint this one. So, does it look like the one in the photograph? Right, here's the photograph of the bridge, and here is the span of the very same bridge. It don't look too bad. Maybe I've rounded the fronts off a little bit too much. But yep, I'm happy with that. Right, just a final recap. As it was built like this, it was never going to support itself. So to finish it off, I cut a piece of card for the full length, 630mm by 6mm, and it's a 2mm card again, and just glued that along the bottom, which will give that a sturdy support. And for this top ridge here, it goes all the way along the top, what I had to do in the end was just notch it slightly in this corner and then drop it down, but cut the card at an angle so it would stay in there, not spring out. And that's it. That's the two spans finished. I'm waiting for the other one to dry, and then we can paint them. But in the meantime, we've got a little bit of work to do to the base of the bridge, as shown in this photograph here. These little concrete supports. So that's what we're going to be doing now. And here is the base of the bridge. It's already got its battens on, which we put on earlier, and I've pre-marked the lines where these little bits of wood is going to go to represent the concrete beams. These bits of wood, it's just an old fireworks rocket that landed in the garden. It's around about 6mm square, so that would be perfect for doing that little job. That's the concrete supports glued in, just by using a few little bits of wood. And if we flip it over, that looks just about right, so it should match up with the bridge supports when they're on. Right, we shall leave them to dry. Now started to paint these sides, and using a various mix of paints, I have come up with something that resembles a concrete mix. It's this matte yellow, this matte grey, and a tiny bit of black, just to give it a little bit of darkness. Although it looks like concrete when it's wet, it'd be interesting to see what it looks like when it dries. Okay, I've had a change of plan. I've decided to scrap the idea of mixing paints, and I have now sprayed them grey. So the next thing I'm going to do is, the grey is a little bit dark, so I've decided to use a little bit of sandstone masonry paint just to lighten them up a little bit. It's the, believe it or not, it's the paint you get from Wicks, and it's just a little bit of masonry paint. So what I'll do is put a little bit on a towel, I just keep dabbing it until there's very little on there, and then just rub it on. And then wipe it off again. And it gives you that kind of, it breaks it up a little bit, and it gives you a lighter look on the grey. And I think I might stick with this. This concrete is a funny colour to replicate. I mean, the colour I used earlier was a bit too greeny, but this, I think, will give it a whole new look. You can see the grey and then the lighter grey. I think I'll stick with that. Here's the job finished, and I'm quite pleased with the way they've turned out. And I've also painted the buttresses using the masonry stone from Wicks as well, and taking it off just as quickly as I put it on. So the next thing to do is the base of the bridge. And here is the base of the bridge. What we've got to do now is flip it over and work out where these concrete arches are going to go. So here is the plan of the bridge. Traffic goes up the middle and pedestrians walk either side of the arches. So we've just got to measure where we're going to put the arches, remove them, and put the paving in and fill the holes where the screws have been put in so we don't actually see the screws. And then this bridge will be ready for nailing down onto the buttresses. So the bridge is 140 millimeters wide, and I'm going to allow 20 millimeters for the pedestrians to walk on, which I think is quite generous. And then 20 millimeters this side. Just carry the lines right through to the end of the bridge. Do the same that end. Right, and then the arches will sit just inside those lines. Right, and that's plenty of room for the cars. As you can see, I'm using the rule to keep this footpath nice and straight, just so that when I come to fit the arches will sit on nice and straight and there's no bumps and lumps, so you've got a nice neat straight line. And also I have also allowed for at least 2 millimeters on the edge here, just to allow for some railings, which I forgot to do. So I shall carry on with this. Just putting a little tiny bit of PVE on because I've just filled in these holes and sanded them down, so it may be just a little bit dusty even though I've wiped it off. So just to help stick them on. Right, that's one side done. I've left the slabs off of here and off of here because that's where I'm going to be pinning it down to the bases. So all I've got to do now is just give this a quick wipe and then we're ready to go again. So with the paving done and the bridge arches in place, now you get a rough idea what it's going to look like when it's completed. For the moment I think this is as far as I will go on this bridge because I still have all the track ballasting to do and other little jobs in this area before this bridge is permanently fixed. So this is what I've come up with over the past week, and it looks fairly decent. But if you add this handrail along the front as well, there'll be handrails on both sides for the pedestrian walkway on the bridge. And here's an overhead view. As you can see, I've just got those ballast weights there just to stop them from falling over. Right, I think that's all from me this week. Next week I might start looking into doing the platforms, because once the platforms are in place then I can do all the ballasting and I'll be able to put this bridge on permanently. So, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and we'll catch you again next time. Bye for now. Bye.